This small block Chevy swapped S10 has been setting for 5 years, and today we're finally going to do something about it. Now, before we even think about cranking the motor in this, I have a lot to do, and today's focus is going to be up front here, and hopefully we can get everything tidied up here and move forward with the progress on this truck, so we can hopefully have this bad boy rattling the windows here in the garage as well as the neighbor's house. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start working on stuff up front here. As the obvious, we're going to be hooking these wires up, power starter, power to the truck itself, etc. I'm not going to wrap all these with that power braid stuff and clean it all up yet, just in case there's an issue. We really only need like 3 wires to start this thing, and they're already laid out technically. Something else we're going to have to be doing is we're going to figure out something with that throttle cable. This may or may not be in the next episode. As I just mentioned, if you haven't seen my last episode, I went over and gave a full overview of everything that's holding up this truck. Today's going to be the first episode of a new segment where we're going to be covering stuff to get this truck running. So hopefully after 5 years it will start. As you see, I have some notes there. It needs brake fluid, no power steering fluid. Everything else is pretty much there to start this. Only other thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add some trans fluid stuff as well. We're going to put the radiator and stuff back in here. I don't know if that'll be today, but that'll be something we cover here in the first 1 or 2 episodes. It's just to make these not extremely long and boring. So I'm going to get a checklist. We'll write that down. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll jump into the action. Okay, starting with something easy. We got the core support out. I painted this a long time ago. It's really dirty still. I need to clean it up. But we got this back in, and I got new core support bolts and mounts, and I actually got them off LMC truck. I'll put a little diagram here. Just type in your year truck, filter it, and it even shows you like the diagram as I have right here, how to install those. So I'm going to get that bolted up, take a look at it, and then we'll dig the radiator out and put that in, see what we need to do to get that mounted in. Radiator's in. One thing I did want to note before we go over and take a look at the other side, this bolt here that holds this like hood bracket latch, I did have to trim this bolt because it wasn't allowing the radiator to come all the way back. It was sticking out probably a 1/4 inch. So that's just something to note there. And then here, as you can see, of course this isn't bolted in tight, but there is plenty of space. It's tight, but it's plenty of space. Could be tighter. I've seen tighter on other vehicles. So this is the back side of the Superior radiator. You see it's not very tight. So what I'll do now is we're probably not going to mount this permanently yet because I want to make sure this core support is correct first. There's a little barb fitting that goes to your coolant overflow. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then we may find some bolts and go ahead and put the bottom ones in for now. There's holes there in the bottom of your core support and that little bracket that's on the radiator shroud on each side. You can see that right there, and then we can put the bolts in there. So let me go get some thread tape and we'll put that barb fitting in for now. Take a look at it, and then we'll test the hoses that I have to see if this water neck is going to be okay to use. Okay, so I lied to you. The barb fitting, I didn't use tape. I used this ARP thread sealer, which is good for gas, oils, coolant. I've not had any issues with it. If it does leak, not a big deal either. Just pull it back out eventually. Put some tape on it. As far as the radiator cap, I'm going to be using this one. This was actually on the V6, 4.3 V6 original motor that came with this truck. And for now, we're going to use this. I'll probably get a different one eventually, but this will work just fine for now, provided it's still good. So we'll use that. Moving on to the next thing. I don't have a little like rubber mat that I'm going to put underneath this radiator so it doesn't contact the core support yet. This is just for mock-up. But as you can see here in the water pump hose coming off the engine, the hose that I use is actually a flex hose, and I used it on my engine run stand when I first broke this motor in. The problem here is the hose diameter that I have is bigger than the part on the radiator here. So in order to fix that, what they make is these things. These are like an insert, and here's another one that I have. This, you might not need this, so I wouldn't even buy that if you don't need it, but make sure before. It'll allow the inside diameter of the hose to be smaller, once you get it in there, and you can put it on there, it'll be tighter as if the hose is the correct size on this end. So that's a little thing that's going to save me some money if I'm having to buy new hoses. They're not expensive, but I wanted to use what I had. So I'm going to put this on, get this radiator put back in there, and then we'll jump up here and take a look at the driver's side. Okay, driver's side hose is on, of course, just mocked up. Need to put my bolts in. I got to get some from the hardware store. Some that goes in the bottom too. When we mount the radiator to the core support, of course, the hoses are just tightened. They're not secured. So the only thing I have question-wise here is if the hose angle is going to be okay with the radiator cap over there. On camera, it looks okay. Eyeball, it looks okay. But I've always thought that the radiator cap was supposed to be the highest point of the cooling system here. So we'll find out when we go to start this again if that's correct or not. If anybody wants to chime in and knows that answer, let us know in the comments. Let everybody else know if you don't know. And if not, we'll change that to like maybe a 90-degree angle, which would put that pretty much like a straight plane to the radiator. So button that up, put my pad in, bolts secured, make sure that is good to go. And then next, we're going to be jumping to the wiring. This is my favorite part, but not really. So it could be really bad or really good. Hopefully there's no gremlins here somewhere and I go chasing them later. No, I didn't hack the wiring up like some people said in the comments on a video I made on the channel years ago. I simply put stuff together how I wanted it to be and what I'm planning to do with the truck. Your truck will be different in your particular fashion on how you determine what you want to do with it. So, all the stuff for the lights, for everyone that commented that, oh, I hacked it up, nothing's going to work. The lights are on this side. All the wires, I think someone even commented and corrected somebody. The stuff we cut was in here for all the stuff that we're not using anymore. No plans to use it. Several wires here. These 3 wires, 4 wires here are going to be ones that we mainly use. Some of this other stuff is for like the wiper motor and I believe the washer reservoir pump. So we're going to jump that. I'm going to get some stuff ready off camera and we'll be right back to tackle that. Wiring. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, we're going to be using 3 wires, 4 wires to wire this up and get it started. First one we're going to be using is going to be this pink wire that's coming out of the fuse panel here. And what we're going to be doing with this is running it over to here. That wire is actually going to go to our HEI distributor. If you can see that, or if you know, you can't see it on camera there, but there's a spot there for a tack adaptation and one that says battery. To do that, where they make a pigtail, and we're going to be using this HEI tack and battery dual connector. So this is just a HEI pigtail. One side, the green wire, will go to the tachometer that I'm going to put inside the truck, and then the red wire we are going to join with this pink wire. So that's how we're going to do that one. This next wire is the purple wire here. You see it running all along here. I have it snaked up into the cowl panel there. We're going to be taking that and putting that on the starter. So what I mean by on the starter is that wire in particular is going to be your start wire, and that is going to go on this post on your starter. Now, that's not the only wire that's going to go to the starter. We also have the one that powers everything basically from the distribution block here and the fuses over there. So that's going to actually be this red wire here. And you see I have 2 inline fuses with it as well. That should prevent it from burning up. And what that one is either going to go to is you can either run that one in line with the positive battery cable, or you can put it on this post here with the positive cable as well. The last one we have is like a thicker ground wire. I don't remember where exactly this came from, but it's a thicker wire similar to the other wires that we're going to be using here in a second. And I'm going to find a place to ground this somewhere, either the firewall or somewhere on the frame or something like that. So we're going to get some stuff to mount this stuff up. I'm going to get some wire connections and my wire pliers, and we'll be right back and start clipping some wires. Okay, so we have the pink wire hooked to our red wire for our HEI pigtail for the tack. And what I did is wrap the wires together. I'm actually using this, if you can see this on camera, it's like a self-solder with heat supplied heat shrink piece that connect the 2 wires. And of course I'm actually going to run another piece of red heat shrink tubing over this connection when I've done this. Now, I've never used this before, so I'm going to test this out. We'll see. As long as it works okay, we won't have to actually use solder because this little ring around this is actually supposed to be solder. So we'll get this soldered here, see if it works, and we'll slide our other piece on. So let's try it out. The stuff's supposed to melt, supposedly. And when it starts to liquefy, that's when we know it's sealed good. You can already see it if you can't see that on camera. It already welded itself into the wire, essentially. It soldered itself into the wire, the appropriate term. So, that's what we got there. I'm going to slide this heat shrink piece on, and then we'll jump to the next piece, which will be the starter, probably. So real quick, before we jump to the starter wire, there's the final result with our heat shrink solder connection. And I also put heat shrink on the outside on the red wire, and it's pink, so that heat shrink tubing is actually like a combination of, so it's like a hot pink. So that works. Let's jump to the starter. Okay, so now it's time for the purple wire that I mentioned earlier. We still have the purple, red, and black wires. The red wire we won't touch right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to touch it onto the top post up here on the starter, or I might run it in line with the positive battery cable, which will also go here on the starter. So we're not going to mess with that today. I haven't decided what I was going to do yet. I guess it'll determine what kind of battery cables I end up using. But for today, we're going to put this purple wire on. As you see, I put some heat shrink in the end on it. Took a little bit of sandpaper as well and cleaned up the very end of this contact so we have a good contact. And then you're just going to slide that on there like such. And now we should be able to crank it when we have power. So we still have the red wire and a black wire that's a ground wire from somewhere. I don't know where it went. But we need to clean this wiring up. That's something we'll work on maybe in another video before we tidy it up and actually crank this truck over. So I don't like how this is mounted up here either. Do something with that. But as far as wiring, that's the 3 wires that you need to get this thing turned over and some power to it. Still have one thing left to do for tidying up in this episode. And now we're going to be mounting the radiator, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to mount it. So to mount this, your radiator cord support, at least on this 93 version, has 3 holes across the top. And as you see, I put some tape on the outside here. I've seen this done before on videos, but I don't ever know if it actually works, but I'm going to try it. And I think it's to help the paint, or in this case, it's PR15 on top, from peeling or cracking. And then we're just going to mount it through the plate, and we're going to be using some 5/16 bolts, because that's what size these holes end up being here, to secure this to the cord support. We're going to drill those 3, and then we're going to go underneath, and then here there's a little bracket that Superior Radiator makes, and there's the holes under here, and we're going to put 1 bolt on each side on there. So let me grab the drill, we'll drill the holes out, see if the tape works. I'll be right back. Have any of you ever drilled through paint? So poke a hole through it. I am using a titanium drill bit, by the way. Okay, drill this one, and we'll drill the other one out, and then we'll hop underneath and get that rigged up. Break time, drop the drill bit. Okay, so after the equipment failure, which was actually an operator failure, it's my fault, I forgot to tighten it all the way up. We have our 3 holes drilled. So now let's see if the tape actually worked or if it scratched it all to pieces and I'll have to recoat it. Looks good so far. That one looks good. That one looks good. And that one looks good. So underneath the truck here, what we're going to be doing is drilling 2 holes. We're going to be drilling one here and then one all the way over here on this side, right here. So this is where we're going to mount our bolts for the bottom. And let me grab the drill. We'll drill those out and then we'll start putting some bolts in. Okay, so to mount this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these stainless bolts and washers that I got from my local hardware store. We're going to put a washer on each side and we're going to run it through our hole there. And it's going to go into this, which I'll show you in a second. And you're just going to tighten it up from there. You can do this however you want. Like I said, I'm using 5/16 bolts here. Might be different on yours, so make sure you check that before you buy these. They're not expensive, but who wants to buy bolts that you don't need? So we'll take a look at that. I'll put the bottom ones in, and then we'll take a look at what's next. Got all the bolts in. Just need to tighten them up now. So there's what we got here. As you can see, no paint scratch, or POR 15 scratch. This stuff's pretty durable, so it doesn't really scratch. There's the back side. They are a little long. Wasn't sure what size exactly to get. And the sizes that I thought what I would need were either too short and way too long. So those will work. They don't stick out past the radiator. I don't foresee any issues with that. But the bottom ones are in as well. So there's that. And then it'll be hard to see, but that one's in as well. So we got those mounted up. I'm going to grab something to tighten these up with while we're here. And then we will come back and talk about what's next. Got the bolts all tightened up. So in this episode, what we covered was core support mounting, new mounts, new bolts. We put the radiator in, we got the hoses on, we got those all tightened up. We got the rubber pad under the radiator, we got the radiator supported in the core support with bolts. Then we moved to the wiring. Of course, we did this a little bit out of order. We took our starter wire, we took the wire from the switch and put it onto the HEI distributor with the HEI pigtail. We still have to hook up our red wire, which is going to go either on the starter post or it will go in line with the positive battery cable, which is also going to go into the starter post. So we'll figure that out later. We got the black ground wire that I still have over there I need to put somewhere. And that's everything that we covered in this episode. There's still a lot to do still here. Besides, we did do the radiator hoses too. We still need to do the throttle cable and we need to do the alternator wire, stuff like that. Other than that, fluids up here and a brake line, this is actually just good to go. Where next time we're going to be moving on here. Okay, so in the next episode, we're going to be working on the interior of the truck. We're going to do some gauges to the motor, to the trans. We got water temperature, stuff like that. Volts, we're going to have to hook that up as well. We'll also be working on the throttle cable with the pedal, hopefully getting a tack put in here temporarily, as well as the gauges. They're going to be temporary for now too. Obviously the dash is out. Waiting to figure out if we're going to be able to do a roll cage in this for now or not. To be determined still. But we're going to be covering stuff like that. We're also going to attempt to mount the shifter temporarily so we can be able to control the trans, make sure it's in park before we need to start it up. So don't miss that episode. That'll be coming soon, hopefully. Appreciate everyone for watching. As always, hit that like and subscribe button if you would. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel. And I'll see you next time.